run this and the output file already exists, it may very well die. So what I did now is open up the terminal window, and I'm going to get into the directory that has that folder. So I'm in my pig stuff folder, and I want to run word count. So I'm going to change directory to pig word count. Okay. And now I can type this command that's in that text, which is right there. And that says run pig. Then this dash X is like a flag that says where do you want to run it. And we're going to say local instead of Hadoop. And then you give it an input script. Well, it's the input script of the file in the directory we're already in. So it'll find it. And when I run that, it says, as I thought it would, the word count directory already exists. So as I thought, every time you want to run this, you either have to rename that directory or delete it. I'm going to delete it. And then I'm going to go back and run it again. And it's doing its thing. It's not too slow for doing one of the 3 books. And it gives you the summary, how many records it wrote, and what else does it say? Records, oh, I thought it had more data in there. It read this many records, stored that many records, which I don't understand, wrote that many records. And now the word count directory is showing up, and when I go in there, there's this thing called Part, which is a text document. And if you open that, we have the complete output of all the words it found. So when you can do that successfully, you are now set up to write pig scripts and shove in whatever input you want and do whatever transformations you want. Okay? Now, when at least most of you are at that point, then I want to proceed and go on and start playing with some pig jobs and seeing what the various transformations do. And if you're already that far and you're bored to tears, I'll show you what I'm doing. I went into our PowerPoint, which was called pig.powerpoint. And I wanted to try to run this fairly simple, why is it I decided to try to run this one. So I copied these commands and stuck them into a script file, and then I created an input data file that looks something like that. And my pig job is running beautifully, but it's giving me no results. So I have a bug, which is what I'm going to keep working on while you catch up to me. So what I did was I created another folder, which I called bag example, because this was the first time we were creating an interesting data structure on the read process. We were mapping the input into a bag. So that's what I called this bag example. For my input data, I took the numbers out of there, and I'm hoping that's acceptable. It's 3 sets of numbers, and they're each separated with a carriage return, and I think that's the way Pig will read it. So I don't think there's a problem with that, but there might be. And then for my command, which here's my log. Good, I have a log file, I can look at that. Anyhow, here's my pig, where I said, the first thing I'm going to load, I'm going to call it A. I said load baginput.txt, which is the name of that file that I just corrected. And then this as is supposed to read that data out of there. And then it's going to store that into a new folder called bag1. And then it's going to go on and it's going to do a for each and store that in a folder called bag2. And then it's going to go and generate that and store that in bag3. So we'll be able to see all three of the transformations. And if that would run, I could do that. Right now it's creating 3 folders and they all have empty data, which makes me think the first load is not working. I don't remember, I have a feeling that this system takes like C# kind of comments. I hope it does, because there's no reason to run these second 2 steps if it doesn't. It's not working. Okay, so bag example log. Okay, front end exception during parsing, blah, 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 into expected quote string. Caused by fail to parse bag line 2 mismatch input dot bag x for each generated. That looks, well, who knows? It might get that because the first one failed to load, and therefore the second one failed to execute. So let's try this one. Gotta get the right directory. So your job right now is to be getting word count working. I'm trying to get the next one working so that we got it all.
She's running over her coat like she always does.
I'll just wait until you can fix it for me.
It says it's not installed.
You know why? It's because we put it in bash RC, but it's the wrong version. So go back and change it in your bash RC file.
Yes, I get
Path.
At line 3, column 1.
It says line 5.
Oh, it does like those comments. Okay. All right.
Bottom?
So what I need to do is
Oh,
copy
there it is.
that,
I changed that to 13.
paste it.
And then you still have to source it.
Now I'm going to go
You
back
need-
to
you're
bag
supposed to
page
be
and just
in
delete those lines.
Directory to work counts.
Am I? That's what I was wondering.
You're in your home
Straight
directory.
up. Rid of that. Back over there, try it again.
And that one?
Yep.
Right.
LS, just make sure. Yep.
So I'm only running the first command. I'm not getting an obvious error, but it's obviously not creating any data. So I got to delete that for the next time. I got to look at this and say, why is this not
I understand it to be.
load?
If you take the dot slash out, does it work? And just put bag input. It's not working.
Are you giving me a suggestion?
Does it work if you take the dot slash out
Oh,
and just do bag input?
Yeah,
Oh,
because I
well,
claimed.
I hate to argue with you because you're usually so helpful, but when I was doing the word count, it was dot slash word count. So that's the thing. And it is successfully writing out. So Well, the only thing to do
I'm
is
still
to
in
make
middle.
the input easier, which is take baby steps, that's what I always say.
We should source that up.
Let's see, where's my input? My input has a maximum of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
If the block is 6 by 6, it makes subblocks of
Is it
3
what?
by 2, and therefore creating
So I had 8 of those
2 by
things.
3,
1, 2, 3,
or 2 blocks, 2 blocks by 3,
4, 5,
or
6, 7,
subblocks.
8.
So it makes 6 subblocks.
So what I'm trying to do is
I've already
see
tried
if I can read
I think it
that
works.
data in.
It's always wider than this.
Before I get fancy and try to stick it into a bag.
We need to close the parentheses.
Yeah, thank you. I definitely have to do that comment, close the parentheses. And then I actually need one of those, which I'm wondering if I even had the last time. But let's just run this back.
So it backtracks if it can't find it.
That's fine, you said.
Yeah.
And that's where the map
Have to do the same
is
stuff, or
because
something.
it's created and added and reduced.
Well, no, I sourced it.
And it's
I sourced the
backtracked.
SRC, which had.
And whatever you do, whatever checkout
Yikes.
goes in your
Meteors next source.
is part of the solution.
Oh, I just read that.
So each time it comes back
All right,
in,
let's
it's
go
a new
input to
And then
word
there's
column.
checks.
So
It could,
special
but it
about
didn't
that.
actually do
Nothing.
now because it would have put those outputs for all the times, just like the other ones do.
It says execute.
I believe.
Line 19.
I think.
I don't think that's what happened. I think that's what happened, but I don't think whoever designed this particular set didn't do that because it ran so fast. And that's what they kept saying. It ran so fast, I didn't do this.
It's not necessary.
But I think that's how it works. And then it goes through and combines all the functions, or the solutions, right? And it kind of remaps those as goes. And then the way it prints out the solutions is what I kind of explained in the beginning. Because ours didn't have multiple solutions, I don't know how it shows multiple solutions.
No, they didn't have multiple solutions.
And that's what I'm saying, because ours did. But if there were multiple solutions, I don't know how to display that. If it was solution one, solution two, solution three, or.
How do we get the log file? Is it only when we get an error that the log file appears?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I don't understand.
Maybe it doesn't like the
why it
commas.
says ED.
Maybe I should try
Because it should show
spaces.
everything.
But that's not the solution. The only solution that
It's
can
actually a pretty good idea.
Has those.
is this. And the reason
Oh.
why is because
Oh.
these don't overlap anywhere.
So those
Okay,
are
so
the
after we
ones
do the
that
first one,
basically.
You got the
So
first
this
job
is-
running?
This is the
Yeah.
that's it.
The second one doesn't
Here's the-
exist. I'm just
Everything
typing it.
about that.
Oh, okay.
shows these are
As
potential
we go.
answers. These are
And I
things
wouldn't
that
bother typing too much until I get
return
it
an empty set.
doing something
Mark as
useful.
part of the solution.
All right, let's try
Final
that.
solution can
Save
have
that.
one column.
Close that.
Zero through
Rid
six columns,
of
right? You
that
can't have one that says
output
1, 3, 4, and then
Try it again.
1, 2, 4, because having two different sets be the solution you can't. So you can only account for each column once through the entire solution.
I'm still missing something.
Well, I didn't show it each one, which I probably should have. I couldn't get it because I couldn't access it.
Okay, I'm
Example.
I'm
Yeah, that one.
gonna pause on this for a while, and I think if we push back to the PowerPoint,
Yeah, I can do
what do we got for examples here? Cloud aggregation. I'm not happy, I'm not even able to read the simplest input, so I'm obviously missing one critical step. Okay, so in the PowerPoint, which you can open right up in Canvas, I'm just going to go to this site, which describes the work that we just did. then we'll move on to another example. Let's see, where's this big workout tutorial? Okay. This isn't a very this is what I use to make that work, but it doesn't explain much of anything. You know, there's the command we ran to do it. So load data using function as schema is the normal thing. So our load command has the form of load. And where's the data? Well, it says student text, whatever. We have input text up there. And then you can say as name. Oh, I'm not doing that. I'm not giving it a name : int, am I? Is that my problem?
Are those the name of the fields? F1, F2, F3, F4.
Name : yeah, I'm doing that already.
That's it. Yes.
Anyhow,
I think that dot slash was a problem, as I mentioned that if we get rid of it, maybe it would work.
The dot
In
slash.
front of your input dot text.
You think so?
Yeah, in the same example, you can see that records equal to load student dot text is given as.
oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So bag input in the first line, you have to get rid of that.
Okay, so let's go up to here. Bag example. I want to go here. Get rid of that. Yes. And then I want to go to here. And then you're saying get rid of that. Load that.
Is that the solution?
That is the solution.
Yeah, but not in the way that all the text
No,
shows up.
right, it didn't make sense.
That's what you're saying.
It's tough. What are you saying? Well, you see, that's working because I can do this. I can say DUMP, okay, and then it won't even try to write it to a file. It'll dump it to the screen. So let's try that.
So
It read 3 lines of data and it converted them all into nothing. How do you get? So it knew there were 3 lines of data. That's encouraging. Bag example, input. Like I said, let's go to another example which is hopefully has better input, and then we can learn what the input needs to look like. Okay, so take stock example PowerPoint. Let's see if we did I put that up there? Yes, I did. So let's open that up and see if